You are already working in Intellipath, so here we are at Unit 2 talking about it, well, again. Part of why we review these different ideas multiple times is that you come to it new and fresh, not exactly knowing what kind of questions you may have, and as you progress, you will find yourself with new and different questions. So each time we review, we want to give more information, more in-depth information, and we want to make sure we're answering any questions that you have. A key element is that Intellipath is adaptive. You're going to find that sometimes you work really quickly and sometimes you spend more time on something. That's all about figuring out you. Each one of our students is coming to CTU with different knowledge levels. You may find that you know pretty much everything that's happening in a class. Other times you may find that it's all really new and exciting. However it happens, realize that you get to work at your own pace with Intellipath and that it's going to adapt to you and what your particular needs are. You can always keep learning, even if it's stuff that you know, and you can always come back to lessons to either review so that you're just reading the material again, or revise, in which case you are setting that grade to 0 and you're redoing it. The objectives as we go through each lesson is to say what are the topics, and you'll find that there are a lot of different topics. You may have, say, 18 lessons in a unit, or you may have 28 lessons in a unit. The aim is for you to spend anywhere from about 5 to 10 minutes on each lesson. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. As you look at it, you'll see something like this. You may find that there are 3 options. Any one of these, you can click Learn, and it will open it, and you will work on that particular lesson. But then some lessons have little padlocks. The reason they have that little padlock is that we want you to cover a particular sequence of material first. Sometimes we put padlocks on all of it, and you have to start at 1 and then do 2 and 3 and 4, and it's very slow and specific. Other times you'll find that very few lessons are padlocked, or maybe none at all, because we know that wherever you are in that sequence of lessons, it is still working to get you to the final product. But don't stress if you see some of those padlocks. You're doing it right as you approach them. So something that will happen, you may find that you are looking at sort of an average time. This isn't the only time you'll see suggestions about what time you should be spending on each lesson. We say things like, on average, you might plan on spending about 10 minutes on each lesson. Well, average is a suggestion. I want you to think about how comfortable you feel. Some information is new. Sometimes we're distracted. Sometimes we want to reread or re-watch or re-listen to that information to make sure we really understand it. That means you may take more time. And those are all really good reasons to go slowly. So I want you to think about how you feel. Does it feel good or does it feel off? If it feels like you are just taking too long, if it feels uncomfortable, then reach out to your instructor to have a conversation about that particular lesson. That's what we're here for, to support you with subject matter expert material. So ask yourself how you feel, not exactly how many minutes are on a clock that you should be aiming for. An average means that some people were quicker and some people were slower, and all of those were good, as long as you're learning that material. Completing a lesson means that you're going to explore all kinds of material. You will have information to read, but you may also have videos and audio files, examples to work through, infographics, or my favorite, practice, so that you can see how that material really works. Review all of it so that you're ready for those questions. Sometimes the questions will look like this. You'll simply have a couple of choices. But notice there's often a choice at the bottom that says, I don't know. And it's perfectly okay to click on that. Because as you're going to see in our next example, that means it will provide the solution. Sometimes the solution is in depth and really great as a support. And sometimes it simply gives us the answer, which if we don't know how to get there, that's not really that helpful. So it's a good step. But if you find that you still have questions, it's really important to tag this little flag right here. That sends a query, a message to your instructor, and it includes this particular question. I love that because I can then respond directly to that question and help you walk through the ideas and situations in that particular question. And of course, you can always continue to go forward from that spot. But that is a really, really helpful part. So as we complete that list, we're going to see what color we've gotten. The colors are going to support us, and we're going to keep opening different lessons. A key element that we're going to talk about a lot as you go through is the idea of completing every single lesson first. We start where they're all this empty shade, this white circle, and as we fill them up with the different colors, we may not like when we don't get a green color, but we want you to keep going. The reason for that a student actually mentioned last term and was like, well, I feel like those lessons are sort of the same sometimes. Well, he's right. Some of those lessons are indeed the same. We're approaching a topic from multiple angles so that everyone gets what they need out of it. So keep going. If this lesson is red, as we move through, we will learn more about that topic. And when we come back after completing all the lessons in a unit, we will have more information for when we answer those questions. So our best practices, remember every series of ideas is something that you should consider, test out, and see which are the best for you. So first off, we want to complete all those lessons. Then we want to look at the red and yellow ones as we come back to them. But we really want to go through and complete all of them first. Saving our progress is also really important. You may have noticed, let's go back a little bit. I think it's right about here, this exit button. It's really important to press that exit button and review the options. It will exit and discard our progress, which means when we come back, it'll have us restart a lesson, or we can exit and save for next time. This is really useful because it'll pick up right where we left off. Instead of saying learn, it will say resume, and that is really, really handy for quickly moving to our next space. Grading is a little bit different, so we're going to look at that one in our next video.